Hello. Right, so today is something like the 23rd of November 2023. As you can see, the weather is wonderful. It's about the best day we've had for ages where I've been able to get out. So a while back I was on Instagram and I was witching around, or it might have even been a video on YouTube where you went looking for one thing and I'd found something else. Today, let's see if I can fill out the rest of that story. So the first thing we're going to do is be heading that way. So come and join me. I was actually going to look for a bunker with a view to doing a bit of an explore and a bit of a story tell. And being the complete twonk that I am, I chose a day when the heavens would open when I arrived there. So it was not to be. But when I arrived there, I saw a sign and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Went home, did quite a bit of research. Now, what research really means is I had a quick look on the internet, ended up buying a book, read the entire book, got thoroughly carried away, remembered stuff from my childhood, and basically I've spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to design this video, which will probably, most of it, be absolute waste of time and not cover it, but we'll see. Okay, so having just wittered on aimlessly, let's tell you a little story. Once upon a time, good old Great Britain was the height of technological advancement. We had the Iron Bridge Gorge. You may have heard of it. You know it's called the Iron Bridge Gorge when you get there because it's got what can only be described as a gorge with a big iron bridge over it. Well, hey! So that was good. So we had the Industrial Revolution, and Iron Bridge was sort of symbolic. It was a symbolic statement of what that meant. Now let's fast forward to the end of the 20th century and into the 21st century. Stupid idiot leaving his indicator on. So yeah, so let's go forward to the 21st century. Cue T-Rex song. I don't want to go straight on, I'm going left, mate. Crappy roadworks, never mind. Right, yeah, so here we go, we're going into the 21st century. And what landmark location does one think of when we start talking about industry in the late, the turn of the millennium? Well, to me, it's Silicon Valley. We've sort of got Silicon Valley sort of idea. It's meant to be the Thames corridor and Oxford and Cambridge as well. But that's meant to be sort of, the UK's equivalent. But Silicon Valley is where it's at. And I can almost feel you getting terribly excited as, at the mention. Silicon Valley, oh, lovely computers and wonderful. But what the hell is this idiot whittering on about? Well, if we go back in time, I'm going to juggle a bit on my timings, but you'll see why in a minute. If we go back slightly, we had the space race, and Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy, and back to Cape Canaveral, because they couldn't make their minds up what they wanted to call it. But Cape Canaveral, that's where it was. That's where NASA was, and wow, fantastic. Then we've got the Nevada Desert, Area 51, and all those places, which are synonymous with the development of nuclear power. And I'm going to say nuclear power because I'm trying to keep it light. We don't want to mention too much about doom. I've done that enough. So I'm now going to go further back in time. I'm going down to what can only be described. Do you know what? I really like that house. That's really stylish. They must have really good views on a good day. Anyway, changing subjects. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, going back in time a bit further. I'm going back to the start of the 1900s and the first half, certainly the first quarter, but really the first half of the 20th century. So aviation was marvellous. It was at its beginning. Cars and bikes were, sort of beginning to make their way in the world as well. I'm not talking about that, However, you could sort of say Birmingham, instrumental in the automobile and motorcycle development of the world, really. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about information and communication, information technology, for want of a better word, is what we call it now, isn't it? There's a place, and I'm going to call it Morse code Mountainside. I didn't know about this, as I say, until very recently, and I was quite staggered. What you may not realise is that back in sort of 1913, here in Wales, a construction site was set up that made, once it was finished, a landmark development in communications throughout the world. And that's what we're going to look at today. And you're thinking, what on earth is this about? Well, join me in a bit later on and we'll find out.